Hello there, everybody. It's Jamie Gray. Welcome back to the Canadian Ruck. This pod, we feature Kyle Baillie. Kyle is from Prince Edward Island. He's the first male to rep PEI at a Rugby World Cup. He did that last year. Sorry, geez, a little over a year ago now. Rugby World Cup in Japan back in 2019. His debut for Canada was back in 2016 versus USA. He's a loose forward with over 30 caps with Canada. Played with the London Scottish in 2017, 2018, and he currently toils for the NOLA Gold of Major League Rugby. Kyle is coming up soon. Stay with us. As always, we always like to give ourselves a little plug there. If you're a listener, you know we're on all the social media, the important ones anyway, the Twitters, the Instagram, the Facebooks. Search us up, Canadian Ruck. Emails, thecanadianruck@gmail.com. Make sure that if you're watching one of these on YouTube, that you're subscribing, you're following, you're commenting on these great guests. Same thing goes if it's Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Castbox. And lastly, our website is thecanadianruck.weebly.com. And I've said this a couple times in the past. It's been a little while, though, but I just want everybody to know that I do not get paid for this. This is just pure pleasure for me. I'm a teacher. I work at Ross St. Netherwood School. I'm a history teacher. I also teach an ethical technology course. I coach the varsity boys rugby team there as well, and run a mini rugby program, the Ross St. Little Blacks, and it's rookie rugby, so it's non-contact. It's introductions to the game and things like that as well. My wife Emily helps out as that, and we have a lot of volunteers as well. So it's really cool. But this is just a chance for an ex-player, current coach, current rugby fanatic, I guess, to share stories with some great Canadian rugby players and help them, I guess, pass their stories on to others. And it's a lot of fun for me. And I just want everybody to know that I don't get paid for this. This is just for fun. And it's always just exciting to hear different stories as to how different players came involved in the game and made it to the top ranks of Canadian rugby. I'm going to give a little shout out this week. I threw something up on social media suggesting I'd love to send out some love to some local clubs and stuff. And our first one that got back was on Instagram. It was Carnoval_Dom, and he's always frequently on social media, liking, sharing posts of the Canadian Ruck, which is awesome. And he wants to give a shout out to the Centre Dufferin District High School in Shelburne, Ontario, and the Guelph Redcoats and their coach, who's an all-around great guy, Adrian Brown. Canadian Ruck wishes you nothing but the best of luck in 2021, fielding strong teams and hoping that rugby is back on so that those two teams and clubs get back on the pitch and doing great things with Adrian at the helm. So good luck and enjoy rugby this year, guys. Hopefully it's a go. Rugby news. There's a few things here. This is kind of neat. I stumbled across this one last night. This is Saturday. It's January 16th. Sorry, it took me a while to figure out where the where the date was on my watch. But I'm sitting here in Ross. I'm looking out the window. I was out for a walk this morning with my wife. It's beautiful weather, and it's like -5, -6 or something. It's a nice day to walk. We're supposed to get 30 mil of rain, so all the snow we have is going to be gone, and it's going to turn to ice cold, and it's just a weird winter so far, much like the last calendar year has been. So when I saw this, I was a little confused. Rugby Australia is talking about doing a mini Rugby World Cup, and when I read the tagline, for a split second, I thought they're going to host a Rugby World Cup for like rookie rugby for like little kids. That's not the case. Although that would be a neat initiative. You think of the Little League World Series in baseball, etc., but that's not where it's going. As everybody knows now, Rugby Australia is pretty cash-strapped. They were struggling. So they've thrown out the prospect of actually hosting mini World Cup during the Southern Hemisphere winter. So they're actually planning on opening this up during the Rugby Championship. Chairman Hamish McLennan stated, Rugby Australia chairman said, "We are still expecting the Rugby Championship to go ahead this year, but perhaps we can add to it and create a mini World Cup. We have the French coming in July, but if anyone else wants to come out, great. We have a significant British and Irish population here and South Africans. We're opening to creating a new tournament and keeping the international calendar going." So I read that and I thought, it's pretty great. Like, you've got the Rugby Championship going on with Australia, New Zealand, hopefully South Africa comes back, Argentina. Let's bring, France is coming over. Let's bring a few other teams over and just have this massive tournament, World Cup style, where we get some international rugby back on the pitch. Rugby Canada, interested? I hope so. It's a great opportunity for some high quality test matches, some of the best teams in the world. Australia's also been knock on wood, one of the safest countries during COVID. They've got crowds at games. They've got great weather. Yeah, I think this would be pretty cool. That's going to lead into our gray area in a little bit. Another international news, Japan is kind of revamping their professional league. They're going to launch a new pro league in 2022. It's going to be a 3-tiered league beginning next January, so within a year. The revamped league is going to see 25 teams across 3 divisions with 12 top-tier clubs split into 2 conferences. Mayama Taniguchi, the director of the new league's development office, stated, "We want to be the world's best league. We want to improve the Japan national team and Japanese players. We also want more competitive games." So, you hear that's pretty lofty expectations by Japan, want to be the best league in the world. My opinion has always been Super Rugby. I know others love European. It doesn't matter, but they're very excited. They want to have those lofty expectations. Japan loves their rugby. All right, look at the World Cup that they had in 2019. What a spectacle that was, and the great rugby, and a lot of people out and supporting. They also have some big bucks to throw around that could, attract a lot more star players, more than just Bowden Barrett and Brodie Retallick. Like, they could throw money at a lot of people to get more international stars there. And every Canadian that's been on the pod that traveled to Japan for the Rugby World Cup said that they loved it there and said that Japan loves their rugby. So it could be something groundbreaking. Local rugby news, local-ish. It's Canadian friend of the pod, Sophie DeGoody, named the U Sports Top 8 academic list. This was happened a little over a week ago. This is a nod to her performance on the rugby pitch, the basketball court, and in the class while at Queen's University. And as you all know, I hope you all know, she's currently playing pro rugby with English Premier's club, the Saracens, and she's over there playing with them. Queen's women's basketball head coach Dave Wilson stated this about Sophie. "In my 38 years of youth sports coaching, I have not seen another athlete or another person reach such an elite status in all of the different endeavors to which she devotes her time. It is truly remarkable." Sophie, on behalf of me and the Canadian Ruck, congrats. Very deserving of this. Well done. Gray area this week, very simply. Should Rugby Canada go to Australia for the Mini Rugby World Cup? Me? Yeah, I think it's a resounding yes. Games versus the top teams in the world. Why not make this happen? I'm going to throw that one up on social media this week. See what we can get for some votes. Should Canada go and enjoy some time playing against the world's best clubs? Me, personally, yes. Let's see what you all think. All right, coming up now, though, we have Pride of Prince Edward Island, Kyle Baillie. All right, and Canadian Ruck welcomes Kyle Baillie. Kyle comes to us from Prince Edward Island, but he lives in BC/New Orleans now. We're really excited. We've had quite a few quite a few listeners asked to have Kyle on. So Kyle's gracious enough to join us on a Sunday morning out in BC to join us for a conversation. So Kyle, welcome to the Canadian Ruck.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's jump in here. You're raised in Canada's smallest province, Prince Edward Island. I love going to PEI. More particularly, I think you're from Summerside. Like, great little town, beautiful spot. Talk to us about how you became involved in rugby at high school, the Rock, and kind of threw up the ranks. What was your pathway there?
So whenever I started playing rugby in high school, I played for Three Oaks, and we were fortunate enough to have Rugby in Canada games at the time. So we had like a PEI, like under 16 to under 18 team as like we were kind of like the group, I guess, getting it going, building towards that Canada game. So we had a bit of high performance there, which was great for development and stuff at that age. Basically, things kind of ended at under 18 for PEI. So I ended up getting picked up with the under 20 Rock, and through Newfoundland, and then you get into the kind of CRC pathway, and then from there you want to get a shot at going into the national team. That's how the pathway was back whenever I started.
So that was Three Oaks. So what year did you graduate high school?
Good question. 2009, I think.
All right. Did you ever play at the Rugby Fest at Ross St. Otherwood in New Brunswick?
Yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah.
I think I probably coached against you then because
Oh.
that's where I've been teaching there for 15 years. So
Oh, yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah, no, that was one of my favorite tournaments to go to when I was in high school.
It's
Love that one.
pretty. We get close to 50 different teams that show up and compete, and it's always pretty entertaining weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's nice. Small town, Summerside, beautiful town in PEI, all the way up now to New Orleans. But you've also repped Canada at Rugby World Cups. You were there last year in Japan. Um, how was that? Small town kid from PEI representing Canada on that international stage, one of the largest sporting events in the world. What was that experience for you? What were those range of emotions you were feeling? How
Yeah,
can you sum that up?
yeah. I know. I mean, it's difficult. My World Cup experience was a bit different than what I think I had envisioned because I picked up an injury just prior to getting on the plane to Japan. So I was kind of injury rehabbing the entire time, and I wasn't just quite right. I was grateful enough to play against South Africa. I got the start for that game, but still wasn't like 100%. I ended up tweaking my knee again, like a minute into the game, and I just quite wasn't there. So that on the performance side, it was, and the result side, it was a bit frustrating. And obviously we didn't get the success that we had wanted. We had targeted for that World Cup, and to miss that in that last game was disappointing, to say the least. But no, to be from PEI to have made it to the World Cup representing Canada was incredible. It was an amazing experience for me, and everyone else that was involved. It was truly unique and amazing to be on that world stage.
It, yeah, I mean, you're right. You probably your team didn't do as well as you thought, but you're also in New Zealand and South Africa's pool, and you
Mhm.
guys played admirably in those games. Definitely would have won that last one if it hadn't been for the storm. But your team soaked up the culture of the event. A lot of your teammates helped out in cleanup efforts and things like that. Like, can you talk to us about any of that? Like how your team stayed together through some adverse times over there?
Yeah, I mean, I think by the end of it, you go through hell and back as a squad, and that really brings you together. In Japan, it had been so um, welcoming and embraced us as rugby players, as Canadians. And we just really wanted to give back. There's a lot of guys like that helped clean up after the typhoon that went through. There's a few of us that stayed back and played a bit of rugby with some juniors and kids the day after, which was a really cool experience. And we just wanted to give back as much as we could given the circumstances. And yeah, no, it was amazing.
It's really cool. Do you see like a pro contract in the offspring over in Japan at some point in your future, maybe? Or
I wouldn't mind it. Yeah, it'd be a good time over there.
So you're in New Orleans now, but you also played, I think, a season or two in England. Talk to us,
Yeah,
I guess, about the experience. Like you were an outsider over there. How did the program in England help you with Canada, things like that?
yeah. So I played for London Scottish, and I played in the championship. It's a very set piece orientated league. So everything's scrum and mauls. You're kicking for kicking for corners and stuff like that. So it really helped my line out work, my scrum work, all that technical kind of aspect of that. It's a bit of a meat grinder. I think we played like something like 30 odd games, 36 maybe with preseason.
That's a
Your
lot.
week in, week out. It's definitely a step up from just even on the mental side, let alone the physical, to prepare every week for essentially a year. It's a different kind of game. It's a battle nutrition out there. Definitely learned a lot though. We had a lot of experienced players. We had some player coaches at the time, which I was able to really, learn a lot from, and take that back whenever I ended up going to NOLA.
That's nice. So you're in New Orleans now, playing for the Gold. And we chatted a little bit before I started recording, like a different atmosphere down there. The heat and the chance that you can actually play under the night lights now and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
what is that experience like? I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like it's a rugby hotbed in the States. Maybe it is. But walk us through what it's like on a game day, and is there tailgating? Is there what's the atmosphere like down there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a very close following for our local team. We have such a good fan base. So in terms of like the tailgating and stuff like that, they do all that. We have a little like party lounge where they do a second line. They have like like a live band playing in there, and they'll take you out to the stands after whenever we are ready for kickoff.
That's
It's really
cool.
cool. Um, yeah, I mean, everyone out there is they just treat you like family, which this is half the reason why I really enjoy the club so much. Everyone is just so welcoming and really just want to take you in and help you out.
That's
Um,
beautiful. I was
yeah,
thinking it would be different than Summerside, but it sounds like there's a lot of similarities to small town Summerside.
yeah, no, definitely there is. Anytime guys are around, during the holidays, we have some off time. We have a lot of supporters, a lot of fans that just want to take you in, feed you, cook you a good meal, and just enjoy the company, which has been really nice.
That's really cool.
Mm.
How important is it for the teams like New Orleans and the Toronto Arrows and Old Glory? How the MLR? How good is that for? How good can it be for Canada and USA's development and climbing up the world rankings?
Yeah, I mean that's a huge part of it. Having well, on a Canadian standpoint, having so many players throughout the league now, we have like, Toronto's a Canadian focused team, which is great, but we have a lot of Canadians kind of peppered out throughout the other teams as well. That's huge for development. It's huge for the players getting an opportunity to put their hand up and excel. Because before it was a bit more difficult with our current pathway, and now that we have the MLR as I guess as like a branch as a stepping stone into our national program, it's good to have that competition week in week out. And I think what are we sitting at 18 games, something like that, 16 or 18 games now for a season. So we're getting a lot of good high performance rugby in there, good competition. And then it also leads into our test matches and stuff for Canada, which is good. Gives us that good momentum.
Absolutely. And you guys just had your 3-week November camp, right? So you would have been able to have access to pretty much every Canadian that's available, because most of them now, they're not overseas. They'd be probably under contract in the MLR, and they'd be a little closer to home to be able to take part in something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And there was a lot of young bucks coming through, which is good. It gives them a lot of good experience and kind of shows them what's, I guess, required to take that next step up and what the Canadian team's looking for. There was a lot of like just a lot of just like smiles on the faces. People are just happy to be around. There's a lot of energy, which is good to see. And guys, a bit of I don't know I don't know how to say it, but bit of cunt about him, I guess, in training, just I don't know. But guys are still competing, which is good, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want pushing people out, and competing for those spots, and there's a lot of that going on.
I imagine everybody's been kind of somewhat isolated over the last, 3/4 of a year. So they're
Yeah,
all a little ramped up, ready to smash somebody, right? So
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah, and it was just great to catch up with some old faces again too. I
yeah,
haven't seen a lot of those guys in a long time, so it was really nice.
that's awesome. Um, speaking of smashing people, you were just recently you were at a tennis tourney, I think in Bermuda. Can you talk to us about like what was that atmosphere like? I saw, I follow DTH on social media, and I didn't see any rugby pictures from him. It was all like cliff diving and stuff like that, or something like. So what was the rugby like at the tennis tournament?
The rugby was exhausting. It was, it was. You could see there's a bit of rust out there. The guys haven't played in a while, but it was it was a lot of fun. It was you kind of got to express yourself. Tens is a bit of a unique game. There's a bit more space obviously than 15s, but not as much as sevens. There's still room for the big boys in there. So yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. I played with the Ohio Aviators at the time, and we definitely played a 15 styles game. We were mauling teams from everywhere. We just kind of had that forward dominance, scrumming for pens and stuff, which was a lot of fun. We could bully some of the sevens guys that were out there. But yeah, we ended up actually performing pretty well. We finished second. We lost in the final against SX10. But no, it was a great experience. And outside of the rugby, I mean, as you saw, there's the island's beautiful. There's so many amazing spots to go check out: inlets, clear water, cliff diving, a couple swizzles. There was yeah, no, it was good. It was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, it looked like it was a great time. So I mean, over the last year, you've had, you get to be in Japan for a little bit for rugby. You get to be in Bermuda, centered out of New Orleans. So you've had a quite a nice lifestyle over the last year or so. Beyond that, but just in the last year or so, you've got to see some really awesome places due to rugby, right? So that's great stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a big reason why rugby kind of attracted me so much as well. Like outside the sport is the ability to travel with it and to be able to see the world. Really fortunate with that, and I've been able to go to a lot of places and travel with Canada and just plan my career as well. So it's no, it's been amazing.
It's awesome. All right, so Kyle, we're at our section now where we do our quick fire, and I mentioned before we've got about 20 questions here. So half are kind of rugby based, and the other half are kind of more personality based. Some of them you might think about, but it's just for fun and just kind of give our listeners a chance to laugh a little bit. So you ready? You up for it? I like your little Christmas setup over your left shoulder too. That looks
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. We got
Not
that.
bad.
We have a little tree over there.
Yeah, that's good. Who's behind you on the couch?
Girlfriend Catherine.
Oh. She's watching the Hallmark Christmas movies right now. All right, so here we go. Question 1. Best team you've ever faced?
It's got to be South Africa.
Yeah, that's a good one. World Cup champs, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Right. Best player you ever faced?
Best player. I think I played against Sexton in Ireland. He's got to be one of the top for sure.
Yeah, he's 35 now, and he's still one of the tops in the world.
Yeah.
All right. Who's the toughest player you ever faced? And when I say this, I mean the guy you look up, you're 1v1, and you're just hoping that they trip and fall before they get to you.
1v1.
You might not want to say it because you're a flank. You're not supposed to, but I mean, I'd have visions of the beast coming at me or something, right?
Yeah. Luckily, I got to dodge that bullet this year. He wasn't around whenever I had to play LDC. But who do we play? I mean, one of the guys, a really big threat was Nanu. When I had to play against him in San Diego, he was just such a ball player and a running threat that you had to be honest with him.
So smart.
Yeah, it's very smart. Create a lot of opportunities for them.
All right, 10s or 15s?
15s.
No questions, eh?
Yeah.
All right, what's the best match you were ever a part of?
Best match. It was probably that Ireland, when we played Ireland in the Aviva Stadium. It was my first game against a nation like that, and to play them in Ireland, in Dublin, was absolutely insane. And it was a packed stadium. It's definitely a memory I'll never forget.
It'd be a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
Lots of Guinness afterwards, I imagine too.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Yeah. All right. What's your speaking of? What's your favorite rugby tradition?
One of my favorite rugby traditions. I do love a good sing along. So sing along with the boys after doesn't happen. Well, doesn't happen too much at the top level, but more like club stuff. You get a bit more of that, and I do enjoy that.
What's your favorite song for sing along? I've always been a Welsh Minor fan myself, but
it's well, they're more just like department store and stuff like that.
Okay, working in Chicago. Can you sing us a little bit?
No, I shouldn't.
All right. Who's the best team you've ever played with?
Best team I ever played with? That's a good question. Best team I ever played with? Well, it's got to be the Canadian team, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, no question.
Probably fair. What's your rugby nickname?
Oh, Bailey.
Just Bailey.
Classic last name. Yeah. Nothing too exciting.
Who's the player that you love to smash? As a flanker, probably
Who's
all
that?
of them, or scrum halves maybe, but
Yeah. Who's the player? Like position wise or an actual person?
it could be a person. It could be just somebody that you really hate on the field, but it might be a positional player too.
I do like messing around with nines, always pressuring their kicks, getting in their head, and they're usually crazy bastards anyway. So they're fun to pick on.
As a former nine, I can appreciate your answers.
Yeah.
All right, any rugby superstitions?
No, nothing too crazy. Pretty basic. Nothing. Nothing I really do for a game day ritual.
Nothing that'll set you off if you don't do it or something.
No, I don't have any of that.
Okay. Did you watch the Jordan documentary, The Last Dance?
Sorry, what was that?
Did you watch the Jordan documentary, The Last
Yeah,
Dance?
yeah.
All right. So, of all the players you've played with anywhere, who was your Jordan? Who was your Pippen? And who would be the Rodman?
Ooh, wow. I'd say Blevins probably the Rodman.
A couple people have said him.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I'd say Ty's probably the Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar mindset, I think. Pippen, that's a tough one. Pippen, who would I go with? We'll say Heaton.
Okay. Good one, too. All right. Who would be three people you would take on a golfing trip? Could be rugby players, could be, somebody that's alive. It could be anybody you want.
3 people. I'd take Ray Barkwell because he loves
He's
some golf.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Never shuts up, though. You wouldn't be able to get a swing in.
That's happened. Doesn't
Sorry,
mind drinking too
sorry,
either.
Ray.
Who else? Also, we got big golfers. There's always a couple boys that go out. Hubert would be good. Would be good crack just to have for the banter. Doesn't mind a few drinks either. Just going front row heavy. We'll go. What else we got in there? We'll throw Kieran Hearn in there as well. Why not?
Kieran, nice, good 3. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, who was your childhood hero?
Childhood hero. Jeez. I don't know. I don't know.
That's all right. You don't have. Some people don't have childhood heroes.
Yeah.
It just means you're empty inside. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just dead inside. Yeah.
All right, what's the most used app on your phone?
That's probably Reddit.
Reddit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your go-to on Reddit? Like, what are you looking for? Just anything, rabbit holes or what?
Yeah, I just dive deep into something.
Okay.
It's a bit of exactly rabbit hole.
What's your go-to food?
My go-to food. It's probably like a breakfast sandwich.
Okay.
I could eat breakfast.
Nice.
All day.
All right. Chips or cookies?
Cookies.
What kind?
Oh man. Chocolate
Probably
chip.
anything. And chocolate chips got to be homemade, I imagine.
Gotta be homemade. Yeah.
All right. French fries or onion rings?
French fries.
French fries or poutine?
French fries.
Oh, East Coast, and you're still not. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite beer?
Ooh, lately it's been a chestnut ale from this brewing company out here, but a good Luck Dog. Classic Luckies. Can't go
Chestnut
wrong.
ale sounds good too, though.
They're lovely. Yeah.
What's a guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. Just binging video games for an entire day.
What's your go-to video game?
Where to start? Right now, I just got Cyberpunk 2077. So that's been my. Anytime I get a bit of free time, I've been sneaking off and playing that.
Is that the one that Keanu Reeves advertises?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. What's the best? Where's the best place for a post-match beer?
Ooh, best place for a post-match beer. It's got to be in New Orleans for sure. probably Bourbon. I mean, you
Anywhere in
guys
Bourbon Street?
anywhere in Bourbon Street. There's a spot we go get some purple drink. Usually start the night off. I don't know. I'm not sure what's in there, but it gets in the right place.
Purple drink?
Yeah, yeah. It's just purple drink. It's purple slushy.
And you don't even know what's in it, eh?
No idea.
Good start. All right. What's your favorite song or like favorite band or something like that?
Um, uh, I mean, I kind of just listen to like genres. Like I'm more like kind of like electronic music, like I don't know, like tropical house, like house music and stuff. Like that's
Okay.
usually what I listen to.
All right.
Yeah.
And what series are you binge watching right now?
I've actually think I've been watched everything that's out there. I'm currently
Tapped out.
TV list. I need it. If you have any recommendations, please send them my way. I'm looking for something to watch.
That's awesome. Get through everything.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie. It's probably like Dark Knight Rises, maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
All right. Who would play you? There's only three left. Who
Okay.
would play you in the Netflix movie of your life?
Wow, who would play me? I would be honored if it was Jake Olnicki playing me.
Oh,
Just yeah, yeah. My roommate showed
yeah.
Jake Olnicki.
All right. Can he act?
We'll find out.
All right. Can your girlfriend hear?
Yeah,
Okay. Who would play the leading lady?
who would play the leading lady?
Some guys have failed. They've declined to answer this, so it's she's in the same room, so it's up to you.
uh, my little celebrity crush is probably Scarlett Johansson, so that's good. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, that's been on quite a few. That one's come out quite a few times.
Yeah.
And last one for the quick fire, Kyle. What would the movie be called?
Hangover.
It sounds quite reasonable for today, I think. All right. Thanks for those. All right, we only have a few questions left here, so I think your coffee's getting quite low there too. So, Kyle? Who's had the biggest impact on you as a player?
The biggest impact would be probably Pat Senior at Newfoundland. He's really shown me a lot of time and helped me out a lot, with like so much throughout my career. In terms of pushing me and putting me in the right places. So yeah.
That's a good shout for sure. So for you, who've played, you've played in England, you've played for Canada, you're playing for New Orleans. How important? You spoke about a little bit. How important is that team bonding, the camaraderie aspect? How important is that for somebody like you playing on those different teams?
That's really kind of what makes up the team. I find like if you're not good on a core level, it's really tough to perform. So I think that's so important to have that camaraderie from the ground up. Really, that's kind of your foundation of the team. So I think that's such a big importance to that. That's one thing that we really target to build first out of all those teams. That's something that we really try to do right away, because if you don't want, if you have to want to fight for the guys in the room. So that's a massive part of it.
The old New Zealand saying, like, "No dickheads allowed" type thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think rugby does a great job of weeding out the dickheads and really building a team atmosphere. So, What are your thoughts on what makes a great team player? And by the way, I love your New Orleans shirt that you got on right now. I'd love to get my hands on one of those.
Yeah, these bowling shirts are amazing.
They're awesome. All right, so let's try that again. What are your thoughts on what makes a great team player?
For me, it's like just a guy that would, work hard, go through the trenches with anyone, someone that's gonna like lead by example. Those are the kind of guys that I want as teammates, that aren't afraid to get their hands dirty and do that kind of work.
Yeah.
Big one for me.
Did anybody stand out to you, like, from Canada's roster, from New Orleans, that you think, when you think of the guys that are in the trenches with you, that their faces come to mind? I know you might be hard because you probably want to say a lot of names, but does anybody really stand out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a bit difficult. One of the guys from like the forwards usually get in there quite a bit. One of the backs that stood out for me was Con Foley that played for us in New Orleans. He was a guy that was always in there battling, doing everything he could, hard worker. Yeah, he was a guy that really stood out for me.
You got to love it when backs play like forwards, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tremendous respect for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's 2020 right now. How old are you right now?
29.
29. Let's fast forward to 2030. You'll be 39. Might be retired. You might still be hanging around. What do you want to be remembered for? Maybe you're having a team reunion with New Orleans or the 2019 Canada team. What do you want those guys to be saying about you?
I just want to be remembered for my work rate, on the field. Just a guy that's getting in there. Like I said, someone I was looking forward to is some guy that's getting in the trenches, and that's something I want to be remembered for. And obviously have a good beer with at the end of the day.
I think those are both affairs. I've watched it. I've watched you play a fair amount of games, and I'd say that would definitely sum you up for sure. The guy that doesn't mind getting in the trenches. Haven't had a beer with you, but maybe that's in store down the road sometime if you ever make it out to New Brunswick. So,
Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
Leslie, any great rugby stories you can share with us? If you want to throw a teammate under the bus, it's up to you. But maybe it's just something at your own expense, something fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could share one. There was so my first year that we got caps. What was that? 2016. We did ARC. We had a ton of new caps. And one of our traditions for Canada is you like sing a song on your cap, like on your new cap day.
Song.
And so I don't know, everyone must have picked the same song that day because everyone was going wagon wheel. And it kind of became a bit of a running joke throughout the years after that. Anyone that knew any new caps coming through, or just shouting, singing wagon wheel and stuff. But yeah, no, it was pretty funny.
So when Pat Parfrey was on, he actually sang part of his song, and two or three others had. And it's been kind of a standing tradition that if that is part of your story, that you're supposed to sing a little bit of that song. So we'd love to hear a little bit of, hungover Kyle singing a little bit of Wagon Wheel, if you wouldn't mind. That would be great. Great way to end the show.
All right. Yeah, put it up. Give me some lyrics here. My brain's not working. Rock me, mama, like a rat. Oh, sorry. We're going laughing at me in the back.
Oh, that's not bad. Is she going to come up and sing with you? You should get her to sing with you.
No.
No. That's awesome. No, that's good. That's really good. Listen, I think you need to go refill your coffee. Maybe get a little siesta in there before lunch hits for you guys. But I really appreciate you taking the time and chatting with us, and wish you some luck as you head down to New Orleans here in another month or so. And hopefully it's a great season for you, Kyle. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It was truly a pleasure. I'm glad I was finally able to make it out.
Yeah, we've had a long time trying to get a date nailed down, haven't we?
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, bud.
Cheers.
All right, everybody. Thanks very much for listening. Kyle, thanks very much. I know it was might have been a bit of a handful for you. You had a rough night the night before, but you were up on a Sunday morning, had a great conversation. We had some pretty good laughs there, and I really appreciate you taking the time to join us on the Canadian Ruck and hear a little bit about you. Best of luck this season with NOLA and anything with Rugby Canada. We're always looking forward to seeing you up on the pitch. Coming up soon, we have Derek Daypuck. We have Maria Gallo, Kelly McCollum, and Leslie McKenzie. Dr. Robert Strang, his is actually going to be next. We'll pop his up next week. Evan Olmstead, Nick Blevins, and we have a host of others coming up as well. Again, thanks to everybody who listens. We reached number 4 in Canada this week. We even reached in the top 30 or 35 in New Zealand. So thank you, Cindy Nellis, for that, because you were spreading it around and a lot of your friends down there were listening, which is great. Keep spreading that good rugby word. Everybody, make sure that you're sharing these stories out for other people to listen to, tag people in the posts, etc., just so that we can hear more of these great stories. As always, got to thank my son Rylan for supplying us with our music. He loved doing that for us. So thank you very much, bud. And as always, feel free to request topics for future podcasts, whether it's guests, whether it's questions. Love to hear from you. Until next time, though, everybody, this is Jamie. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane. Most importantly, keep on rucking.